Philadelphia news, team of my heart. The Philadelphia 76ers are making big moves, but are they enough to finally secure a championship? From adding a sharpshooter to finding the perfect defensive piece, Philly is addressing key weaknesses in their roster. But there's one critical need still missing, a game-changing backup point guard. This Sixers news dives deep into the players who could fill these gaps and push the team to the next level. Don't miss out on the latest Sixers news. Subscribe now and hit the bell to stay ahead of every crucial update. You know what's been eating at every Sixers fan? It's the fact that despite all the effort, all the changes, and all the hype around the process, the team is still searching for that elusive NBA title. Year after year, you've been right there, rooting for them, only to watch the squad come up just short when it matters most. Multiple Game 7 heartbreaks in the second round are burned into your memory. It's frustrating because, with Joel Embiid leading the charge, it feels like the time should be now. The guy's got MVP-level talent, yet something's missing. And this year, the front office knows it can't stay the same. They're shaking things up, and you can feel the urgency. So, they went ahead and made a splash. The Sixers brought in Paul George on a massive 4-year deal worth $212 million. It's bold. You might have had doubts about George's age, wondering if he can still bring the heat consistently. But the message is clear, Philadelphia is in win-now mode. No more half measures, no more excuses. They're putting all their chips on the table, and if you're a Sixers fan, you know this could be the turning point. You feel it, right? The excitement, but also that lingering worry, is this enough? Is this the move that finally brings a championship back to Philly? Well, not quite. Paul George is a huge piece, but the Sixers still have holes to fill. One glaring spot is at power forward. Joel Embiid can dominate in the paint, but to unlock his full potential, the Sixers need a more natural power forward to complement him. Think about it, you've got Embiid patrolling the paint, Maxey lighting it up in the backcourt, and George on the wing. But who's going to provide the muscle and spacing at the four? It's a missing link, and it could be what either makes or breaks this season. That's where a familiar face could come in handy. Remember Georges Niang? Yeah, you know him. He's not a giant, but at 6'7", he brings length and can shoot the lights out from three. A career 40% shooter from deep, Niang's skill set is exactly what the Sixers need to stretch the floor. His ability to knock down those catch-and-shoot threes? That's crucial when you've got guys like Embiid and George who'll draw the defense's attention. Niang wouldn't demand the ball or need touches to be effective. He'd let the stars do their thing while being ready to hit those clutch shots when the ball swings his way. You can picture it now, Embiid drawing a double team in the post, kicking it out to Niang for an open three. It's exactly what Philly needs. And let's not forget his time with the Sixers before. He knows the system, the fans, the city. Bringing him back feels like the right move, and you know that familiarity could help with a smooth transition. He wouldn't need time to adjust, he'd be ready to contribute right away. Plus, Niang's toughness and grit fit the personality of this team and this city. You know how Philly fans value hard-nosed players who leave it all on the court, and Niang fits that mold. Let's be real, you know the Sixers need more than just shooting. It's great to have guys who can stretch the floor like Niang, but there's another piece missing. The team's defense needs some serious work, especially at the four. Sure, Embiid holds it down in the paint, but he can't do it all. You've seen it happen before, teams attack the Sixers on the perimeter, pull Embiid away from the basket, and the defense breaks down. It's frustrating to watch, right? It's one thing to have shooters, but what about stopping the other team from getting those easy buckets? That's where the real problem lies. You can already imagine it, teams going small, forcing the Sixers to switch on defense, and all of a sudden, they're getting burned on the outside. It happened in the playoffs before, and you know it can happen again if they don't shore things up. The Sixers need someone who can handle those switches, someone versatile enough to guard multiple positions without leaving the defense exposed. And you're probably thinking, who could possibly fit that role? The answer isn't just about finding another body, it's about finding the right type of player. A guy who's not only athletic but also smart on the defensive end. You've seen enough to know that the Sixers can't afford to waste time on players who don't bring the energy and hustle night in and night out. They need someone who's willing to get in the trenches, someone who's got that Philly toughness, who can lock down the perimeter but also isn't afraid to bang in the paint. Think about it, someone who can rebound, defend, and still give you something on offense. A glue guy who fills in the gaps, does the dirty work, and doesn't need the spotlight to make a huge impact. That's the kind of player the Sixers are missing. You've seen how Embiid thrives when he's got that type of support, someone who can handle the dirty work so Embiid can focus on being the dominant force he is. That's why this next move could be the most critical one yet. It's not about flash or big headlines, it's about finding that under-the-radar player who makes the whole team better. Someone with the versatility to guard wings and bigs, someone who understands their role and does it to perfection. And that's where Larry Nance Jr. comes into play. Yeah, you remember him. A guy who brings defense, hustle, and that all-around versatility you need to make a deep run. Nance can guard multiple positions, crash the boards, and still hit the occasional three. That's the type of player you can count on when the game's on the line. He's not going to light up the scoreboard, but he'll make the plays that win games. Adding Nance would give the Sixers that defensive anchor they've been searching for. You know what else has been nagging at the Sixers? The lack of a solid backup point guard. Tyrese Maxey's speed and explosiveness make him a star in the making, no question. But what happens when he's off the floor? Kyle Lowry's experience is valuable, but let's face it, his age and durability are concerns. You've seen those moments, late in the third quarter, the Sixers lose their rhythm, can't find the right playmaker, and suddenly, the lead vanishes. That's the problem. You need someone who can come off the bench, control the pace, and keep the team's offense steady when Maxey sits. And you've probably been thinking the same thing, right? The Sixers have had this issue for a while now. It's not just about scoring off the bench, it's about leadership. You know that feeling when the second unit comes in, and you're holding your breath, hoping they don't give up the lead? It's frustrating because, deep down, you know if they just had one more playmaker, they'd be unstoppable. Someone who's quick, experienced, and can defend well enough to hold down the backcourt. But who fits that role without costing the team too much? You're probably already running through some names in your head. Maybe a veteran who's been around, knows how to win, and won't shy away from the big moments. Someone who's proven, who can provide solid defense and isn't afraid to step up when needed. That's exactly what this team is missing, a guard who can take control of the game when it matters most, someone who's not just a backup but a reliable contributor who knows how to win in crunch time. So, have you guessed who I'm talking about yet? It's Dennis Schroeder. A name you know well. He's bounced around the league, but wherever he goes, he brings that tenacity, that spark off the bench. Last season, he averaged 14 points and 6 assists. And while those numbers don't jump off the page, his impact goes beyond the stats. You know his style, aggressive, always pushing the tempo, and giving opposing point guards a headache on defense. That's what Philly needs. Someone who can come in, lock down the opposing team's guard, and still make plays on the other end. His ability to control the game when Maxey's off the floor could be the difference maker in those tight playoff games. Now, with Schroeder as a potential target, the Sixers could finally have that complete roster. You've got Embiid, Maxey, Paul George, and the right supporting cast to bring it all together. If Philly pulls this off, you're looking at a team that can seriously challenge for the title. But what do you think? Did you already know Schroeder was the missing piece, or did this surprise you? This is why you've got to stay plugged into all the Sixers news, because moves like this could change everything. You don't want to miss out on the breaking updates, the game-changing trades, and all the insider details that could shape the future of this team. If you're a true fan, you know how critical these moments are. So go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and make sure you're always the first to know about the latest Sixers news. It's going to be one hell of a season, and you won't want to miss a single second of it.